y'all, and welcome to today's video. I am super excited because I am going to be reviewing a new to me indie brand. This is simply Posh Cosmetics, and this is the Fairytale Fairies palette. I think this color story is so beautiful. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I've been playing with this palette. I've been testing this palette, and I want to share a look with y'all that I created and filmed, and then I want to create another look today and kind of share my full thoughts with y'all on this beautiful palette. Now, if you are new here, I want to say, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, testing new palettes, we're here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today because I upload lots of new videos every single week. But I'm super excited to talk about this palette, this brand, so let's jump into it. This is the brand Simply Posh Cosmetics. Again, this is the Fairytale Fairies palette. I've been playing with this because it's a completely new to me brand. This is an indie brand. That means it's an independently owned brand, so a brand that's not owned by a large corporation. Absolutely love indie brands here on my channel. Now I'm going to show you a close-up of this palette. I took this video before I touched on the palette, before I tested it, because I wanted you to be able to see what it looked like new, because it does have these beautiful imprints on the top row and the bottom row of this palette. Now, I talked about this palette in a Judging New Makeup, which, if you're new here, that is a series that I do on my channel every single Sunday. We talk about new makeup releases, and I talked about how interested I was in this palette. Simply Posh did reach out to me and they asked me if they could send me this palette. So I said yes, because I was kind of planning on buying it anyways, and I've been playing with it. I want to review it for y'all. I also want to show you some swatches of this palette. These swatches were just, I picked the shadow up on my finger, swatched them on my arm. That is it. That is what you're seeing. I think this palette has a really cool layout because the top row and the bottom row are all matte shades. The top row being lighter pastel, even kind of like bright pastel leaning shades, but they're all pretty light to mid-tone, and then the bottom row is all deeper shades, kind of that deep mid-tone to dark type of matte. And then we have a middle row of shadows that are very sparkly, very shifty, very beautiful. So I always love swatching palettes, getting a feel for them, so I wanted to share those swatches with y'all. I also have, we're going to create a look today because you see my makeup's half done. I want to use this palette, and I'm like, you know what, I'm ready to review it. I want to create a look with y'all, and then I have another look that's super bold and intense I'm going to share with y'all, and then at the end I'll kind of give you my review of this palette. This palette is $45. I will link it down below. And I'm super excited to be sharing this. I love indie brands. I know I keep saying that, but I really do. I love supporting indie brands, and even like off camera, off YouTube, I love to support local businesses, small businesses, restaurants, shops, everything like that. So that kind of just flows over into beauty for me. But I want to create a look. Now that I've shown you the palette, I've shown you swatches, I'm going to prime my eyes. I'm going to zoom y'all in and we'll create a look. I'll share the next look and then we'll do the review. Okay, so my eyes are primed with my MAC paint pot. I will link it down below, along with anything else I talk about. I will put links to in the description box. Now, I am going to take this Morphe 504, and I want to go in with this bright pink. I'm feeling the pink today. What I've learned with these mattes is to press first, which I kind of like to do anyways. If you're looking to get a lot of pigment out of shadows, especially light colored mattes like this one, I kind of like to press first, and then I can go back and kind of blend the edges. But just kind of pressing the pigment on first, right into that primer, seems to be a technique that works really, really well. So that's what I'm doing. I want this to be all over, not just the crease, but above the crease, below the crease as well. And then I'll just blend from there. Okay, for this next shade, I'm grabbing my Sigma medium tapered blending brush, and I want to go into this deep shade right down here. So that first shade we used was called Fantasy, and this shade is called Once Upon a Time. And I really just want to add some depth right out here. Look how pretty that is. I'm doing the same thing, pressing the shadow in and then blending. But look how nicely these layer on top of one another. No issue with, you know, them not wanting to mesh together or anything like that. Again, that's been my experience with this palette, that the mattes are working super duper well. So I'm just going to press, press, press. Now, I will say, I am never here to sell you anything, to tell you you have to buy anything. I am just somebody who loves makeup. I love to review makeup in case you're curious about something, you want to know, like maybe you were thinking about buying it, or maybe I can introduce you to new brands, things like that. Because I love it. I love testing new formulas, new brands. I love playing with new color stories. But if you're on a low buy or a no buy or something like that, I hope that maybe I can inspire you to shop your stash, play with the things you have, things like that. But look how beautiful these two shades are going on. I think they're looking so, so beautiful. I definitely want to add something to the lower lash line, but I think we're going to do something kind of opposite. I'm blending these kind of pinky red shades together up top, but what I want to do for the lower lash line is green. I love pink and green, so I'm going to go in with Evergreen on the lower lash line, and I'm going to blend it out with Woodlands. So we're going to go in with these two deepest, darkest greens down at the bottom, but I'm just going to blend a little bit more down here. All right, I'm excited to play with these greens. I'm going to grab my Lunar Beauty brush, and I am going to really pick up that shade Evergreen. I'm going to get close up to my close up with my mirror so I can really see, and I'm pushing this shade in to the lower lash line like that. So just kind of making sure that the deepest shade stays right there. And then I'm going to pick up a pencil brush from Sigma. This is the E30. And I'm going into that Woodland shade that's a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to blend along underneath so that we kind of have a nice fade down on the lower lash line, just blending it. But I don't want to come too far down. I want to keep it, you know, no further down than my lower lashes go. So just keeping it right here. Okay, I'm loving the way this is coming together. I have not done this color combo with this palette yet, so I'm really feeling myself. I want to go in with the shade Wishes. This is a beautiful shade that kind of shifts, and it's very sparkly. It's like this blue purple type of shade. So I'm picking this up on a Sigma E54. I am going to spray my brush. When I spray my brushes for shadow, I always pick up the shadow first and then I'll spray it. Whatever makeup mist you have is completely fine. I do think that makeup mist works better, like a setting spray or something works better than water in my opinion. I do not like using water on my shadows. So I like a mist. Whichever one you want to use is fine. And I'm just going to press this all over the lid. Super sparkly. You can see how pretty that is. And I'm going to press first. You see, I'm like press it on and then I'll kind of blend. But first I press that shade on. That's just really, really pretty sparkly shade. Okay, I want to add some inner corner sparkle. So I'm going to take this Lunar Beauty brush and we're going to go into the shade Mythical. This pinky shade right here. Very sparkly, very pretty. And I'm just going to kind of press this right on to the inner corner like this. So this is a nice flat brush, so I can really just tap, tap, tap this shade on the inner corner, pressing it like that. And then I'm going to, did I mention this palette has a nice mirror? I don't think I mentioned that. So there it is. It does have a nice mirror. It has a very nice mirror. And something else I should note, I don't think I said in the intro, is, I mean, you could probably kind of tell, you can pop the pans out. So if you have a magnet, I love having a magnet for my shadows. I can link it down below. But if you have a magnet and you want to pop these shadows out, it just pops right out. If you don't have a magnet, I mean, you can still pop it out, but look how easy that was. So if you want to kind of move the shades around, something like that, if you're somebody who likes to kind of make your own custom palettes, that is an option with this one. So I definitely wanted to point that out. But I'm going to do eyeliner. I'm going to do some false lashes. I'll come back. I'll show you the finished look. All right, y'all, this is my finished look. I added some Sigma Fantasy lashes. I'm wearing on my lips Lunar Beauty Coven and Zaya. For bronzer, I have on my Sigma bronzer. I have on Half Magic highlighter in Enter the Glow on my face. And then my blush duo is Juvia's Place Volume 2. I just mixed both of the shades together. So that is how I finished off this look. But I do have a second look that I want to share with you that is very dramatic. So let's jump to that. All right, so for this look, I have my eyes primed with my MAC paint pot. I'm going to take this Sigma E24 and I want to go into the shade Whimsical. This one looks so pretty. It looks so bright and beautiful. So I'm going to make sure there's no creases in my eye primer. So you always want to make sure there's no crease because you don't want to like set a crease into your eyeshadow. If your primer's creased and then you put powder shadows on top, you're just setting that crease in. So I'm going to tap this on. I'm just pressing first and I want to kind of build this shade up because I want it to be bright. I want it to be the color in the pan. So first I'm picking it up on my brush and I'm pressing it. And then once I press it on the primer, then I'll go back and kind of lightly blend the shade back and forth like this. Okay, this shade is looking super pretty. I love it. It's very bright. And I want to go in, this is a dual-ended brush from a Sigma palette, and I want to go into the shade Magic right down here. I love the fairies printed on the pan. I think just so cute, but I'm going to press this on right here. So I want the blue kind of not just as an outer corner shade, but really coming in and being the second half of the crease for us. So I'm just going to buff and blend back and forth like this, making sure that it's the shade I want and that I have a good blend. Okay, so I have those shades blended. I want to go in with the deeper shade on the lower lash line and just pull it a little bit up here as well. So I'm going to go into Mystical right here. And I'm going to put this right at the lower lash line. I'm just going to pull this under. Okay, so I would say with these shadows, it looks like I'm getting more pigment when I press, the mattes on and then go back and blend. If you want that super pigmented saturated color, that seems to be working best. But I'm just going to really blow this out on the lower lash line, you know, taking it down and around. I want the color to come down low, so I want it to be like this, not like this. I want plenty of pigment, so just kind of back and forth like this. Okay, I want to put a shimmer all over the lid, and I don't want this look to be super monochromatic, so I think I'm going to go in with this really pretty shade right here called Sparkles. This lime green. I think that's going to be really pretty, but I'm going to put down some of my KARLA Fix Potion. If you've been watching my videos the past month or so, you know I've really been enjoying this. It's kind of like a glitter primer, something like that, but I really like it for just making the shadows super intense, getting less fallout. It's really fun, so I want to use it. I'm picking this shade up on a Real Techniques brush. Again, I'm going to keep looking down to keep my lid flat while I apply this and until the shade dries, because I don't want to get any creasing or anything like that. So I'm just pressing this on all over the lid rather than blending. And then once this Fix Potion kind of dries, you know, I'm gonna let it set for a minute, then I can kind of go back and blend a bit more. Okay, I've got my eye look pretty much done. Since the green on the lid is so sparkly, I want to go in with a matte inner corner. So I'm going to go into this shade right here called Charmed. I think this one is going to be so pretty, and I think a matte inner corner is just going to be perfect for this look. I think false lashes would be absolutely beautiful with this look. It would just add to the drama, but I'm just not feeling false lashes today. So I'm gonna put on eyeliner, I'm gonna put on mascara, I'm gonna see if I need to blend anymore, and I will be back to show you the final look. All right, y'all, this is my finished look. It's very dramatic, but I feel super pretty in it. I love cool greens and blues, and I'm just really feeling it. I did put on some of my Patrick Ta eyeliner, just a black shade. I used my One Size mascara, really enjoying that mascara. I'm wearing my Sigma Single Bronzer. I'm wearing my Makeup by Mario, what is this? Ultra Suede Cozy Lip Cream in Almost Bare. I was gonna go in with the gloss on top, but I'm kind of feeling this finish on this lipstick. I think it looks really pretty, especially with the eye look. So I'm wearing, for highlight and blush, I'm using the Mini Mix palette that Hot Mess Mama MD did in collaboration with OFRA. So I'm wearing this highlighter right here. This highlighter is All of the Lights. This highlighter was also in the Allie Dawson collab that she did with OFRA. She had a single, but I used the one in the in the Hot Mess Mama palette today because I wanted to use this kind of coral blush. I really like OFRA cheek products. But yes, here is this look. I really like it. Like I said, I feel great in it. Very excited to wear it for the rest of my day. Here's the last look. All right, y'all, I hope that you enjoyed seeing both of the looks, the swatches, and kind of hearing my overall thoughts on this palette. I think it is really, really pretty. I'm so excited to be testing a new to me indie brand. I think both of the looks turned out so pretty. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed seeing them. I hope you enjoyed seeing the swatches. I think the palette is really, really beautiful, and I've had fun playing with it, testing it. I just love testing new makeup, trying new things, and I really like all the looks that I've created when I've been playing with this palette. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a super awesome day, whatever you're doing. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because I have lots of new videos coming for y'all. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye.